Welcome back to the Fonti International. This is our second part of the show, and this segment is called Chart Analysis. We're going to crack all the most important stocks to watch this evening a little bit later. First of all, very quick look at the US indices. So far, great Friday. This is great pre-weekend behavior of the US indices so far. Have a look at them. S&P 500, 1.40 in the green. Dow as well, 1.37. And NASDAQ Composite, 1.5%, a little bit more than 1.5% in the green territory. This is really spectacular what is going on. A little bit unexpected and a little bit exaggerated, but we're going to talk about it. Russell 2000, 2.25 in the green, and we only yesterday we were talking, guys, that Russell 2000 was trading down. I mean, it was only 0.2% in the green territory, nothing compared today. The VIX index 16.4, and the FANGs, they're literally skyrocketing. In particular, Facebook and Apple. Facebook 3% in the green, Apple 2%, and Netflix 2% in the green territory. I want to also show you the US Treasury. So far, the 10-year 1.7, the 2-year 1.6, and the 3-month 1.6 together. As we can see, they're together going up, stocks and Treasury yields. Before we go ahead, very quick look at the major stories. Stocks are rallying on trade deal prospects that includes agricultural purchases, a joint pact to deter Beijing from devaluating its currency, and U.S. suspending planned tariffs. An Iranian-owned oil tanker was struck in the Red Sea of Saudi Arabia's coast. The incident, yet to be confirmed, likely to ratchet up tensions between Tehran and Riyadh. General Motors took a step of appealing directly to employees in a blog post that laid out the terms of its latest offer aimed at ending a month-long strike. Renault fired CEO Thierry Bolloré as the French car maker seeks to reboot its globe-spanning alliance with Nissan Motor. Renault Chief Financial Officer Clotilde Delbos will take over as CEO. Last-ditch talks between the chief Brexit negotiators of the EU and the UK have concluded, with a spokesperson for the EU side describing them as constructive, and this is extremely important. It's been also a major market mover here in Europe. And actually, talking about market movers, I want to show you the sterling. Have a look at the sterling. I mean, it's kind of doing great job against the dollar, 1.2661, 170 in the green. Also, euro dollar 1.10, and the dollar index is dropping by 0.5% today. Anyway, let's talk exactly about the Brexit, because last-ditch talks between the chief Brexit negotiators of the European Union and the United Kingdom have concluded, with a spokesperson for European side describing them as constructive. The Brexit Secretary Stephen Barclay and the EU's chief negotiator for the United Kingdom exiting the European Union, Michel Barnier, met in Brussels Friday morning. EU spokesperson told reporters the pair were continuing to work toward a deal and that talks had been constructive. If there is a will, there is a way. Very important statement, and I want to tell you that the major banks are now expecting from 5% Brexit deal to 50% Brexit deal, and this is huge jump, guys. No doubt about it. Anyway, another major corporate story today is regarding Renault. Renault fired Chief Executive Thierry Bolloré as the French car maker seeks to turn the page on Carlos Ghosn's decades of leadership and reboot its globe-spanning alliance with Nissan Motor. Renault's board voted today to remove Mr. Bolloré with immediate effect after he refused to resign. 3 of Renault's 18 directors abstained from the vote, while the rest backed the move. Chairman Jean-Dominique Zenard said, "I had hoped this would be done differently." Renault's board tapped Chief Financial Officer Clotilde Delbos to take over as interim CEO while it searches for a replacement. That was the last corporate story that I wanted to talk about. Now let's get to the charts, because it's major evening, major pre-weekend evening for the US indices. Let me first bring to the show my next guest, Sante Pellegrino, CEO of SanteTrader.com. Good evening, Sante, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening to you, Aleksandra, and it's a really pleasure to stay with you.
Sante, can we say that it's a beautiful evening for the US indices?
I think it's a beautiful weekend, and the open of this weekend is really great and really enthusiastic, because all USA index are really enjoying it. And we have a all green index. Nasdaq can go up and 150%. Standard & Poor's go up 1 and 30%, and the Dow Jones go up 1 and 20%. It's a really great weekend.
You know, Sante, of course, this is after we saw, actually, let me show it once again, the President Trump's tweet, who said good things are happening at China trade talks meeting. He also said that he's going to meet the Vice Premier today, Liu He, a little bit later at the White House. But still, we haven't seen a deal, and there are many very important points to be deal with in order to see a deal. Do you think it's a little bit exaggerated? Because only few days ago we were talking about correction.
But it's the correction. I think it's not in the near week, but the correction we can have on the all stocks market in the next month. But it's really important that Trump can speak and talk about a new approach, a new commercial approach with the China deals, because it's a really big market, China, and it's really important for the UK economic export. And this is a really great notice because it's a serious problems if USA and China don't have commercial deals.
Absolutely, it is. Sante, let's have a look at the tech sector. I mean, it's crazy what is going on there. Facebook 3%, 2.90, Apple 1.96. I mean, those are really high levels today. Apple hit record high amid trade optimism. They're extremely sensitive on trade news, don't you think so?
I think now the all stocks of tech index, it's really good to select this sector because all resistance price are broken, and for this it's interesting to go up on the all stocks of tech sector. At the moment we don't have a signal of overbought, and for this we can go up on this sector. More stocks are really interesting. In the first time, we have the charts of Apple stocks, and in this moment today, Apple go in overbought, and for this can go up with another resistance price, and this resistance price it's near $241 for stocks. And for this, it's really interesting to go up on these stocks and can approach a good bullish trend. This is.
And what about Facebook? I mean, it has a little bit of problems. Also, I was talking about yesterday that Mark Zuckerberg is going to testify at Capitol Hill. He's going to talk about the Libra project. It's not very difficult period for, it's not very positive period for Facebook. But on the other side, what about the stock in particular? Are you bullish on it? I mean, do you like it? Do you think this rally is sustainable?
Okay, allora, for Facebook, it's not a positive vibes in this moment because all privacy policy are on the strong revolution because Facebook is in the past can't use the really transparent approach on the privacy system of the user of Facebook system. In particularity on the charts, Facebook stocks now is between the long-term bullish trend and the bear-term bullish bear-term trend term, because it's near the resistance price. This resistance price come back from the high on the month of July. And if the stocks of Facebook go up on the next resistance, and the next resistance is like $1,993 for stocks, only up of this resistance price, it's a good approach, or it's a good to buy these stocks. And in this moment, Facebook it's between bear trend and bullish trend. And for this, it's necessary to attempt the next resistance to go up on the stocks.
So for you, Facebook is buy or sell?
For me, Facebook is not for buy and not for sell. The really point of interesting to go buy, it's 193 to go up. And the best point of go down and sell short this stock, it's $175 for stocks.
175, which is kind of $10 lower compared to what is it right now?
Yes, it's really important to attempt this level because in this moment Facebook have a lateral trend.
On the other side, if we take a look at Apple, it's different story over there. Pretty positive news regarding the stock. Also, Tim Cook said the Apple last iPhone sales are going very well. So positive news, and as you said, positive vibes for the brand. Do you buy it or you sell?
No. My view on Apple is to go up. And for this, I prefer to buy Apple and sell Facebook. This is an hedging strategy that more funds use.
That's extremely interesting, Sante. Let's move to the other stocks to watch this evening, and let's talk about the chips. So you were talking about AMD, right? Correct?
Yes, it's really correct. But
it's crazy. It's 5.64 in the green. This is crazy jump. But let me just point out for our viewers that the chip stocks, the semiconductors, are really sensitive on trade news because they have been the major losers of the trade spat between the United States and China so far. So as soon as we have a good news, they're kind of skyrocketing. But here you are exactly to ask you, do you think this is sustainable in the long run?
But I think AMD, it's really interesting to buy and go up on the long-term trend because the new approach of commercial engagement from USA and China is really interesting. For this, all semiconductor sector have a good rally today. In Italy, for example, ST Microelectronics have a big rally and it's near 8% to go up. It's really interesting. And in the same sector, AMD, Advanced Micro Device, have a really great rally up. And the 5.60%, it's a really good vibes for the stocks. In this moment, AMD go up on the near resistance, and this resistance is like $30 for stocks. If these stocks close up $30 for stocks, can go up on $32 for stocks, and it's a really big trend because can gain $2 for stocks in the 1 or 2 day of market open.
Sante, let's have a look at another cheap stock because I'm just watching. It's doing awesome job today, 5.05, and I'm talking about Micron Technologies, $45 per share, which is a fair price, I guess. What do you think about Micron?
Micron is really interesting because it's the same sector of this market, the tech market. It's really interesting, but I want to create a great focus on the General Electric because General Electric is one big company in USA, and today have a good and great performance. It's near 5%. It's the percent of gain on General Electric is like 4 and 60%, and it's a good job.
It's fantastic. Isn't it surprising considering the problems that the company is facing?
Yes. I think General Electric is a good big deal because the public company of General Electric, it's more mesh up with another business. And for this, it's can be interesting because General Electric have a more business not only in tech industrial on the commodities industrial, but have a diverse business in the credit, finance, insurance, in the healthcare, and for this it's for me a good stock picking now to study and analyze these stocks.
Sante, on the other side, let's have a look at the energy sector. They're also doing good job today because most of the stocks are trading in the green territory today. If we have a look, Chevron is 1.47, Exxon 1.5, a little bit more than 1.5% in the green, Conoco 1.09, and Occidental Petroleum 1.12%. On the other side, very quick update on the oil price for our viewers. So far, the WTI $54, which is up by 1.20, and the Brent $60, 1.24 in the green. I want to remind everyone that there are new Middle East tensions. I guess you could hear this at the very beginning of the show. So I also want to remind that the earnings season is heating up. We're kicking off next week. What do you expect from the earnings season of the energy sector?
But for me, the earnings season of energy sector, it's possible that it's good because the price of all commodities is not more expensive, and for this the more industrial, more firms can work very well in this quiet market, because when the price of crude oil it's not more up or it's not more down, it's a good price to have a gain in this market. At the $5 and $4 price, the crude oil, it's really interesting because it's a middle way to create a good and continuative gain on all crude oil market. And for this, I think it's a good period of the commodities industrial, and for this the next earnings season of this sector, I think it's good. This is my personal thing.
And what about the oil price, in your opinion? Can we expect further increase? Because yesterday we saw that OPEC downgraded, actually trimmed once again the demand and supply forecast for 2019 and also for 2020. Situation for the crude doesn't look good, but on the other side we do see Middle East tensions, which are kind of sparking increase in the price of oil. What is now the minimum level in the last quarter of 2019?
The minimum level of crude oil?
Yeah, WTI.
WTI. The minimum level is near 50 and $52 of barrels.
And can it go under $50 in your opinion?
I think no, because this is the on this support goes 6 times, and I think is a good moment to go up at the level of resistance, and the level of resistance is $5 and $5 for barrels.
And Sante, let's talk about Exxon. It's one of the major U.S. giants. Do you like it as a company? Do you would you buy the stock, or you are not into the energy stocks?
Okay, Exxon is a good and big company, and Exxon have the same correlation of crude oil price. It's normally because it's the same company. The company of Exxon work with crude oil, but it's a really interesting, the correlation of Exxon stocks price and the crude oil price, and at the same moment Exxon and crude oil goes on the downside of the overbought side, and all two charts are interesting of more buy, And I think it's more interesting to buy Exxon because the next level, the next resistance level of the stocks of Exxon is $70 of stock, and other one is 72 and $50 of stock. And this is a great opportunity, but we can stay alert if the price go down $60 and $6 of price. That zone is a stop loss zone.
Sante, let me ask you, actually last topic that I would like to touch upon is the currencies, because today we have major movements over there. I mean, if we just start with the dollar index, it's crazy the drop that we're witnessing in the last few days. Dollar index 98.28, it's a drop by almost 0.45. Euro dollar 1.10, which is an increase by almost 0.4%, and sterling against the dollar 1.26. Sante, let me ask you, are you surprised by the dollar's decrease?
But I'm not really surprised because the reaction of Federal Reserve at the new approach of Bank of Europe, it's a good approach to create an interest in the green money on the dollar. This is interesting because if Federal Reserve support an economics politics of an export and expansion of USA market, it's really still interesting, and for this dollar it's destined to go down. This is a really money war from Federal Reserve and BCA. This is a really interesting moment. And for this, I'm not surprised. But I think it's just the first moment that the pound and euro go up on dollars. I think the long trend on euro and pound is now started.
Well, that's very interesting. Certainly, we're going to follow the events. Thank you very much, Sante Pellegrino, CEO of SanteTrader.com. Thank you for joining us, and have a great weekend, Sante.
Thank you too, and have a great weekend to all people that see Le Fonti TV.
Thank you very much.